great to have all of you here. My name is Trooper Seth Little, and I will be your guide on this underwater adventure. And I'd like to introduce you to the rest of the crew. First, Trooper Bowline. All right. Big and tall. And in case you were wondering there's a height requirement, we brought along Trooper Josh Cross. He's so cute. And this is your interpreter, May. Thank you, May. I want to tell you a little bit about the history of the New York State Police Dive Team. The New York State Police Dive Team was founded in 1932, which makes us the oldest and also the largest public dive team in the United States. Okay, now, back then, you'll see up here on the screen some of the first divers, and what they used is they used hard helmets. Okay, these hard helmets were heavy. Then they used big metal collars in order to attach those helmets, and they had a belt and lead shoes, and they had like a canvas outfit. Altogether, this gear was approximately 100 pounds. Okay, so when you were going into the water, you were feeling a little bit heavy. Okay, it wasn't very conducive to finding evidence, but that's what we did, and back then, they got the job done. Now, in 1943, a smart fellow by the name of Jacques Cousteau came up with the aqualung, and thus invented scuba. And scuba is an acronym. What does scuba stand for? All right, an educated crowd, I like it. Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. So, he invented that, like I said, in 1943, and in 1957, the New York State Police decided to adopt that as its preferred method for dive. And so it took the 100 pounds and it condensed it down to 45. Okay, we were able to get into the water, we were able to get into tighter places, we were able to find evidence a little bit easier, and everything was good. Now we wanted to learn from the best on how to use this new scuba equipment. So what we did is we went down to New Jersey in 1958 and we went to the Navy Dive School. Now, the members that went down there went through the school and they took the methods that they learned from the Navy Dive School and they implemented them into our novice dive school, which is 8 weeks long. The New York State Police Dive School, as far as special operations school inside the state police, is known for one of the hardest schools to get through. Okay, we have a 1/3 dropout rate. My class started with 32, we graduated 19. So, give these guys a hand. They did a good job. Now our symbol is the octopus, okay? And I need a volunteer from the audience. Who wants to volunteer? Okay, how about the, let's see here, the Under Armour shirt right here. Go ahead. Come on, you cross the line. Okay. What's your name? Gavin. This is an octopus. How many legs does an octopus have? What was that?
8.
It has 8 legs. Okay. Now, this is not a trick question. Okay. How many teams, as far as troop-wide, does the dive team have overall?
8.
Very good. Smart kid. Here you go. You get to keep the octopus. I guess we have a fan base and I didn't even know it. So, if you want an octopus, we have them over here at the PBA tent, and the PBA supports the troopers and what they do and the dive team, and so we appreciate them, and any support you can give to them, we appreciate that as well. So, to talk to the divers. You divers ready to dive? Okay. When you're ready to enter the water, go ahead. First thing is we never dive alone. When you go into the water, you're either going to have a safety diver on top or you're going to have a safety diver entering the water with you, otherwise known as your dive buddy. They're in the water now, and what they're practicing is called neutral buoyancy. Buoyancy is the force that either raises you or lowers you inside the water, okay? So positive means you go up, negative means you go down, neutral, you're static. It's like you're in space. These guys are floating around, They're able to save their energy, they're able to relax, save their air. Oh, hello there, Trooper Cross. Now I want to point out to you some of the scuba gear that we have. We have the mask, which protects our eyes from the water. And then we have our regulator, which supplies air to our mouth from the first stage, which goes to the tank, which is connected to the buoyancy control device, which allows us to either become negative or positive or static. And then we have our fins, which propel us through the water effortlessly. That's right. You can even go backwards. Good job. Now, a fun thing to know about masks. Things seem underwater through a mask 33% larger or 25% closer. Okay, so Trooper Cross to Trooper Bowline, he now looks like a normal sized man. Right? That's good. No, it's good. You look good in there, man. Good job. Now Trooper Bowline, who's large and in charge, he looks sort of like a mountain of a man. No, not that way. Yeah, you know what? There's only one way to settle this. Underwater judo. Go. Okay. Oh, he went for the mask grab. He just pulled off Trooper Cross's mask. What is he going to do? He might cry a little bit, but that's okay. But what he's going to do is he's going to get his mask, and he's going to put the mask back on his face and create a seal. We're taught how to put a mask back on underwater. Now right now he's got water in that mask, but what he's going to do is he's going to tilt the mask back just a little bit with his head, creating a crack underneath the mask, and he is going to blow air out of his nose. And as he does that, you will actually be able to see the water line in the mask. It will go down. The air displaces the water, and it'll give him a clear mask again. So that way he can go ahead and swim through the water with a clear mask. Okay? One of the other things that we do in the novice dive school, we call it a novice dive school, but it's more of an advanced school, is we do what is a 5-atmosphere dive. And you might ask me, what is a 5-atmosphere dive? Go ahead.
What is a 5-atmosphere dive?
Okay, go ahead, all together.
What is a 5-atmosphere dive?
Boy, you guys, I'm glad you asked. A 5-atmosphere dive, you see this tower here, this is 60 feet, okay? A 5-atmosphere dive is 132 feet underwater. So you take this tower, put another tower on top of that, at 12 feet, that's a 5-atmosphere dive. When you are down that low, you are not seeing anything as far as you're seeing water, what's around you, and the bottom. You're not seeing any surface whatsoever. It gets a little dark and scary. So, let's say you're under the water, something happens, you run out of air. We're going to have Trooper Cross demonstrate what we do. So, he's running out of air, he's giving the symbol. So what does he have? He has a dive buddy. That dive buddy is going to come on over, he's going to maintain control of his own air, but he's going to give a couple breaths to his friend, and then he's going to take a couple breaths. And the reason that he maintains control of the air is because he's the one that still has it. The guy that just ran out of air might be what? A little nervous, okay, a little panicky, and panic is what kills divers. So they will breathe this way, and then they will make sure everything's okay, and they will go to the top, buddy breathing. So they're going to the top. Now, let's say that you're under the water again. You're pretty deep. Something happens. We've had gear get caught on rebar, get caught on branches. We've had things go down, leaks starting. So what we've been taught is how to ditch and don our gear underwater. Again, we don't panic. What we do is we think through the problem. We take the gear off, we get it unstuck, or we fix what's wrong with it. And then once we do that, we put it back on underwater. And so Trooper Bowline was able to fix the problem. He had his buddy next to him here in case something went desperately wrong and he needed help. But he's able to get his gear back on, and at that point you abort the dive and you go back up, and then you re-gear, you recoup yourself, and then you go back to work. So, what is another reason that we might take our gear off underwater? Another reason that we might take our gear off underwater is in order to get to cracks and crevices. We put the gear in front of us, okay, and then we swim behind it. Who remembers Thailand approximately a year ago? Okay, there was a soccer coach that decided to take his team for a hike. They went into a cave and it started raining. It rained so hard that all of a sudden there was like a flash flood came to the front of the cave. It pushed all the soccer players back and the coach further into the cave. Now these weren't big kids. This was not a big soccer coach, okay? These were fairly slender people and they were able to fit into tight places. But they ended up going miles into this cave. So how are they going to get out? Well, experienced public divers from around the world, including many Navy SEALs, went over, and this is how they did it. They took their gear off, they put it in front of them, and then they went through these cracks and crevices until they found the team, miraculously found the team. And so it's just amazing to me that each one of those kids and the coach was safe. So let's give Trooper Cross a hand for demonstrating that. All right, now, I want to talk to you a little about some of the tools that we might use, okay? This yellow instrument up here is also known as a DPV, a Diver Propulsion Vehicle. I grew up watching Johnny Quest, okay? A lot of times they had underwater scenes with these underwater scooters. I always wanted to do it when I was older, now I can. And we got these DPVs, and as you can see, Trooper Cross, he is an expert. He can do corkscrews, he can do whirly gigs, and then, let's see, can you make it through the tunnel, Trooper Cross? All right, let's try. Give it a shot. Yep, I know. I think you can do it, though. All right, let's give Trooper Cross a hand. Looks like a lot of fun. What's that, Ryan? You want to try and go through that tunnel? You guys think that Ryan can fit through that tunnel? No. Yeah, everybody's saying no. You want to try though? All right, well, you know, I'm not opposed to giving you a shot. Go ahead. All right. Give me a little cool off, right, Matt? Okay, he's coming around. He's getting ready. He might give himself an extra push off that glass. Sizing it up. Go ahead. Let's see what you got. Okay, here he goes. No, it's not going to happen. What do you mean you want one more shot? You're embarrassing me. Okay, all right, go ahead. One more shot. Let's see what he's got. Oh, a little trick. All right, Trooper Bowline, let's make him feel better. So what's one of the real reasons that we might use this DPV? Let's say that the search site that we're trying to get out to is a little bit farther away from shore, but it's not conducive to a boat or some other method of transportation. We would use this DPV in order to save energy, which saves air, which means when we get to our search site, we have more of both, okay? And speaking of searching, I'm going to talk to you next about one of the preferred search methods that the New York State Police dive team has. And we always say, our motto is, if it's in there, we're going to find it. And what we use is a line search. And we have two heavy weights, one on either side and a line in the middle. The line is usually 100 to 150 feet long, okay? Now the water that we're usually diving in, it looks like this, okay? You can't see your hand in front of your face. You can't see your computer, you don't know what's going on. You get out to the water, the only way that you can find the line underneath is you have an upline that you follow down to your search line, okay? So, that being the case, this might be a little unfair. Go ahead and drop some evidence in there. But we're going to have Trooper Cross demonstrate.
Yes, Chief, not interrupting you, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, okay, just don't embarrass me this time.
It's not fair.
You're right, it's not fair. Yeah? Yes, he can.
It's not like I can make a special mask.
Our special mask that's taped off so you can't see anything that we use in the novice school. Yes, yes, that is a good idea. But I'll tell you what, Trooper Cross, if you do a good job, this banana, you can have it. All right? That's right. Trooper Cross likes his fruit. Okay? So, Trooper Cross is going to put on this mask. And we use this mask in the novice dive school before we go out into a real world situation. We go into pools with this mask on that we can't see anything because it simulates a lot of the rivers and the cow ponds and things like that that we have to go into. Okay? So, he's grabbing one hand on the line and he's just swimming along and he is feeling the bottom with his other hand. He might run into a tree, he might run into some rebar. I happen to find a lot of shopping carts in the river. I don't know why, but it just happens. And so he's coming back, and my guess is that he will find the gun on this bass, and he did. Let's give him a hand. Okay, so I am going to give this to you. You ready? There you go. All right, should have been a basketball player. Anyhow, so what Trooper Cross demonstrated was our preferred search method. Now, on top of the 8 weeks novice dive school, we also have 7 weeks of more advanced training. Like I said, we came away from the helmets, but now we've gone back to the helmets in certain situations when we do penetration dives where we might go under the water. And there might be either an overhang or we might need to go into a vehicle, or ice diving. We do ice diving. We also do swift water rescue. We do flood response and things like that. So the fact is that the diver's responsibility over the years, it went from just diving to many different types of responsibilities. And so just for a moment, I just want to be serious and just say that the men and women of the underwater recovery team, okay, we are not just divers, but we're also troopers. And a lot of us put our lives on the line when we go out there handling the regular road work every day. But then, the men and women of the dive team, they go above and beyond. And they put themselves in a hazardous situation. Water is naturally hazardous to people. It's not natural to breathe underwater. And especially in the type of water that we go into. And so the reason that we do it is to find evidence in order to close big cases. And also, when we go down there, we see a lot of things that you don't necessarily want to see. Okay, we find victims. And that's in order to bring closure to families. So I just want you to give a hand to the men and women of the underwater recovery team as we say thank you. And if you want to take a picture with Trooper Cross, he will be in the tank here. You go ahead and stand right in front of him, and he will be glad to pose with you. Other than that, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Enjoy the rest of the fair.